All right, what's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Now, I did a video a couple days ago about the possibility that the Lakers were seriously interested in the service of Dwight Howard, but it's a reality now. Dwight Howard has just been waived by the Memphis Grizzlies, and as soon as he clears waivers, he's expected to sign with the Los Angeles Lakers for a non-guaranteed contract of, I think it was $2.6 million for the 2019-20 NBA season. The Lakers were very impressed by Dwight Howard and workouts for the team. I think his competition for the workouts were Martin Gortat and Joaquin Noah or Joakim Noah. Sometimes I get those two dudes' names mixed up, like as far as first names. Joaquin Phoenix, the actor, and Joakim Noah. So sometimes I interchangeably mispronounce both of their names and shit. I might say Joaquin Phoenix and shit. Like, you fucking dudes, these fucking names, man. I'm having the real good American names. Like Adam, John, Charles, Michael. Get your ass in the bus. Old reference. I don't know what some of you guys would get that. But yeah, this is it, man. This is pretty much it for Dwight Howard. Okay. If he isn't able to cut the mustard for this team, um, as far as on two different areas, primarily production, which I think is the easier one, because I think he still can contribute at this stage of his career, but more so his conduct. His conduct and attitude are the most important aspects. This is what people are going to be looking at with him. And he's going to have quite a microscope on him. In fact, you can make the argument that despite his advanced age of 33, and despite the fact that he's now seen as a journeyman, no longer the all-star center and best center in the league, those days are long gone. But he's probably going to have more of a microscope on him this year than ever before. Because as we know, these sports shows, ESPN First Take, Undisputed, when the NBA starts, every fucking day, they're going to talk about the Lakers. Every day. To ad nauseum. Okay? That's just a given. So, Dwight Howard's going to be a near daily topic. Especially if he's not producing. Because the Lakers are going to, the talking heads are going to look for somebody to blame if things aren't going right. And usually it's going to be, as we all know, when a LeBron James team is under the microscope, they're going to blame the role players. All right, so there's a lot of pressure on Dwight Howard, But at the same time, this is a great opportunity for him for redemption. Um, you know, During his years in the NBA, Dwight Howard has been a very productive center. I think he has career averages of like 17 points and 12 rebounds or so, or something like that. And in his best years, he was putting up like 22 points, 14 rebounds, close to 3 blocks per game, shooting about 60% from the floor. I believe he's still the all-time leader in field goal percentage in the playoffs. I know he was as of a couple of seasons ago. I think he still is. So, 10 years ago, the sky was the limit for Dwight Howard. Exactly 10 years ago right now. Because 10 years ago, a little bit more than 10 years ago, actually, he was in the NBA Finals against the Los Angeles Lakers. I think they lost 4 games to 1 that year, but still, the expectation was Dwight Howard at the time was only 23 years old. He can add to his game. He can be one of the all-time greats. But it never came to be. It never came to pass. Uh, Most people considered Dwight Howard a little bit lazy when it came to the way he worked on as far as uh, adding to his game, adjusting to the league, which ultimately left him by, and his attitude. Many people will not forget how the Orlando Magic catered to him, including ultimately firing their head coach, and then ultimately Dwight Howard still leaving the city. He's been a very bad teammate, pretty much. I said this in my last video. Um, when the Atlanta Hawks, when the teammates learned that he had been traded, they all cheered in jubilation. So that goes to show you how much people disliked his prima donna mentality and attitude. And like I just said, this situation is different. This isn't the Charlotte Hornets. This isn't the Washington Wizards. This isn't the Atlanta Hawks. All right. This is a team where you're playing against, excuse me, you're playing with the most talked about and followed athlete of his generation, LeBron James. You're going to be under the microscope. So there's no time for bullshit. You got to do what you got to do. You got to, show up to practice. You got to play hard, give 100% at all times. You know what I'm saying? And just don't get into any bullshit. You know. Um, Now we are all aware of what happened last year with Dwight Howard. I'm not going to really get into that this video. I don't think this is the right video for me to do that. You know what I'm saying? But I'll just say this: Dwight Howard needs to make sure that anything in his personal life that he engages in needs to be kept private. Okay, just go about your business, do what you got to do, and try to look at this situation and treat this situation the same way that other big men who unfortunately had either injury issues or uh, you know either injury issues or uh, a bad reputation sully their careers, but they were able to find redemption with a team. Of course, everybody knows about Bill Walton. I mentioned him constantly on this channel, of course, and it's common knowledge. Bill Walton's career was pretty much done by 1985 in most people's eyes. Um, his injury issues started with the Portland Trailblazers. It continued and got progressively worse with the then San Diego Clippers. All right, he wasn't able to play most of his tenure, I believe, with the Clippers. But he got a chance with the Boston Celtics, and the 85-86 season was magical. All right. In addition to that awesome front line of, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, and Larry Bird, they had a future Hall of Famer and Bill Walton, a UCLA Bruin legend, and Bill Walton on the bench. And they won 67 ball games, second most in the franchise history. And ultimately, they won the championship. So Bill Walton was able to find redemption for one final time. Of course, Bob McAdoo, three-time scoring champion. 1974-75, I believe, NBA MVP Bob McAdoo with the Boston Braves, as they were known. Then ultimately they were going to be the San Diego Clippers, but I just mentioned, and now, of course, the Los Angeles Clippers. But his career became derailed when he got traded to New York, and then he had a stint with the Boston Celtics, but it just didn't work out, and injuries began to take a toll on him. But he found redemption with the Lakers. He, the former superstar, was able to adjust to that role as a six man for the Lakers, and I believe he won. I think he won what, two championships with the Lakers. I think it was two. So someone can fact check me on that, but I think he won two championships. I think he's won the '82 team, and I think he was on the '85 team that won a championship. So Bob McAdoo was able to find redemption. So maybe Dwight Howard is able to find redemption with this team. You know, I hope he's sincere and honest and wanting this final chance, because this will be his final chance. If he blows it, that's it. It's on him. You know what I'm saying? Um, and of course, as we all know, this is his second stint with the Lakers. His first stint ended horribly. At that time, he did not understand the situation. Okay, he thought he knew what it took to win, He thought he could just go through the motions and it was easy to win a championship. It is not easy to win a championship. You have to have an extra gear. There's a different mindset when you're on a championship level team. All right? You have to have a totally different mindset. But one thing I can say that might be different about this time with Dwight Howard. Oftentimes you'll hear players say, or athletes say, sometimes it takes for you to go to the bottom for you to be able to go up to the top. You have to go through a period of losing to understand then what it takes to win or give you the motivation or the drive for you to no longer uh, uh, have to be in these situations or deal with losing or losing culture. And Dwight Howard has played on some teams recently that have had a losing culture. And the losing culture has started to seep in with the Lakers to the point where the number one franchise in California is now the Golden State Warriors. That would have been inconceivable 10 years ago. So there's a lot of pressure on him and other players. Of course, even LeBron James. No matter what the media is going to tell you, there's a lot of pressure on him to succeed for his legacy. I don't agree with everybody that says that his legacy is secure. It's secure in the sense that he'll be remembered as an all-time great. But if he's not able to be successful with his tenure with the Lakers, it will hurt his legacy. LeBron will probably still be seen as a top 10 player, but not in the threshold of the top 3, 4. Those guys. He won't be seen in the same league as those guys if he's not able to be successful in this final remnant of his prime. Talking about LeBron James. I also think it's interesting that these two guys, Dwight Howard and LeBron James, at one point in time used to be foes in the Eastern Conference. I think it was 2 consecutive years, I believe, 2008, 2009, where the Cleveland Cavaliers, of course LeBron was with Cleveland then, were knocked out of the playoffs by the Orlando Magic. I think it was the Orlando Magic 2 years in a row. We used to kick their ass, actually. So this is the tables have turned in this situation a little bit. Now the teammates, LeBron James at the time was a rising star. Dwight Howard was a rising star. Now, of course, Dwight Howard is a journeyman. LeBron James is an icon. So maybe this can work out. I've had my doubts about it, but now that that this is a reality, you only have to hope for the best. I just saw Ticket TV's uh, live stream debate with Say Less. Shout out to Ticket TV and shout out to Say Less. And the first 17, I think he said the first 27 games of the season, 17 games are against teams that did not make the playoffs last year. So obviously the Lakers are getting some help from the league. All right. So it is what it is. Okay. Because an early start, an easy and early start and a fast start will help. That's what hurt the Lakers last year was a slow start. So we'll see, man. This will be fun. Tell me what you guys